And watching for the lights. Will there be another first lap flipper and a safety car? 2 lights, 4 lights, and we are... Go now for race 3. Lind getting a great start. Keo getting a great start also. And where's Van Buren? Van Buren getting a great start over Marquez. What's going to happen into turn number 1? Makalowski and Marquez and Van Buren back here in 6th, 7th, 8th place. And Makalowski is wide. Makalowski's wide, losing several positions. Looks like everyone's still on all 4 wheels right now for turn 1. Then Keo getting around. De Jong, actually Keo in 2nd, still Lind getting a good gap so far over everyone. Looks like everyone's cleanly through first turn so far. Someone's off in the back though. I spoke too soon.
Osterhaus seems to have crashed again. Jack Ward and Zadro have been spun.
Ward is in the beach. Is he stuck there though? Will he be able to get out? He is stuck in the beach. That's kind of a position that might be dangerous. Safety car is out for car stuck in the gravel there. We see him. So Jack Ward is in the grass. Safety car deployed once again. Van Buren in 5th position from that. So once again, exciting starts leading to safety car periods here. Everyone bunched together so close with very little margin for error, always can end in disaster. D'Souza back here with some heavy front end damage.
Even going on when the leader was on the grass at the start-finish straight.
Yeah, Ward just being stuck in the gravel there after the chicane. He, what you can do is change your control settings to mouse, and then just wiggle your mouse left and right constantly, go full throttle, and eventually you'll get out. But he's not doing that at the moment. He's just wiggling his wheels around, not quick enough.
If he doesn't hurry up, he'll be spectated, I think.
Yeah.
It looked to me that Loudon's was...
Push car would be a good idea.
Looked to me that Loudon's was spun just at the tyres on the right-hander, and also a few others collided with him. Ended up Osterhaus went in the air again, and Ward hit the barriers, as you can see.
Up at the front, Lind doing really flamboyant tyre warming there, and Jack Ward now being told to spectate. He is out of the race.
So stuck in the beach. Tire warming is always a big thing in here. We saw it happen at the start of Masters of Endurance at South City, having that big smash up on the pace lap of all things. You were commentating that race, Michael.
Jack Atkinson, he just fell off while he was warming up his tyres. That's very characteristic of Jack, unfortunately. He's just fallen off again onto the safety car. He's going to be very near the back of the field.
Back into 23rd position. So Lind will be bringing him down this time. See if we can have a better safety car start than people were saying were happening under route.
Got to weigh up the options, I think. Do you want to crash and lose dozens of places, or lots of places, or do you want to get a few extra degrees in your tyres? So it's not really worth it.
So Lind leading him off the final turn here, holding him down steadily, about 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. He will begin to pick it up as they approach the line, and the green flag is out now. We're underway. As they cross the line, Lind getting a good jump over Keo, and back in the back, got a Scott getting around Van Buren. So Scott 3 wide back here for 4th. And de Jong and Van Buren almost contact there. Van Buren pushing his way through between Scott and Van Buren, but he cannot stay around de Jong. Anderson and Van Buren and Anderson and Scott and Marquez back there. Van Buren getting around de Jong. And they're crashing at the back, I hear. Is anyone upside down though? Looks like everyone's continuing on. Cars pitting on the restart. Were they crashing on the start?
We got Lobb in the pits, and Atkinson is somewhere far back as well, but no one upside down or in dangerous positions at this moment in time.
Everyone seems to get through the fast chicane cleanly.
Anderson and Dolezal here for 6th and 7th position, with Scott de Jong, Van Buren, and Keogh also all close.
It looks like Van Buren up the inside of Keogh for 2nd position. Yes, it is, into the penultimate corner.
And de Jong's also making it past Keogh, and also Scott, Nolan Scott, just trying to get past his teammate. Keogh is Nolan Scott's teammate, and now they're 3 wide. That is Keogh, de Jong, and Nolan Scott. Nolan Scott on the inside, de Jong in the middle, and Nolan Scott is going to both of them through turn 1. Excellent pass there, it appears to be.
Will he? Nolan almost forcing his teammate off into the grass. Ben getting a better run out of there. Scott having to lean off to prevent from. There's almost contact there between de Jong and Scott. Scott holding it down right on the back bumper of Keogh.
Yep, Nolan Scott playing some team games there, just blocking off de Jong to stop him from threatening his teammate there. Wise head, but a little aggressive, but they've managed to escape from de Jong ever so slightly.
Scott gonna come on the inside into the chicane. Osterhaus making a pit stop again. Scott getting around Keogh going into the chicane now. Scott's gonna try and chase down Van Buren again. Van Buren and Scott chasing down Lind together.
Van Buren just had a little moment there, coming through that corner. Nolan Scott is now catching him very much. Van Buren will be driving angry. He was angry after the race, and it takes a while for people to calm down after an incident like they had in race 2. And Nolan will know that, and he'll try to be a little bit more cagey when he's around Van Buren, as he will be very soon.
I'm sure there's a lot of drivers in the field right now who are angry after that last race. Most of them up here in the top 5 or so. So Scott, about 36 hundredths of a second behind Lind. Van Buren, a 2.25 seconds behind Lind. So Van Buren is ahead of Scott by about a third of a second, and so on and so forth, as Scott is trying to reel in Van Buren and get around him again. But the rest of the field is also scrapping for positions in and amongst themselves. And Gruns is in pit lane now. Race order right now is Lind, Van Buren, Scott, Keogh, and de Jong in your top 5. Dolezal in 6th, Anderson in 7th, and Marquez in 8th. Matai 9th, and 10th is Shirkishan. Shirkishan and Picard side by side.
Picard gets past him on the run into the fast chicane.
Yeah, Picard's had a mystery day today. He has spectated from both races he's been in. First race he was in about 3rd, second race he was further back, but in both races he's spectated for unknown reasons. Hopefully he won't do it this time. Maybe we'll find out why later on.
And in between races was asking if he could eat a pizza, if he'd have enough time for a pizza delivery. So if the pizza delivery comes now, then he'll have to spectate again and go eat some pizza. Food or racing?
Racing wins. Unless you can do both at the same time, that's better. Van Buren setting fast lap of 1:38.52.
Still a lot slower than his fastest lap at the same time of the previous two races. It looks like Lind is keeping up with him, or more to the point, staying ahead.
Watching back here for 20th, D'Souza and Arneson battling. Arneson getting passed by D'Souza, and a bit of contact between them, and Ristic gets around Arneson. Arneson from Core Racing having some incidents previously in these races. In car with Nolan Scott, let's take a ride and listen for a little bit.
Gets a much better run through the chicane, just a little bit wide there. It's a daring corner, you've got to take a risk if you want to catch up to someone, and he most certainly is. Now we're just getting a little concertina effect now. I think Van Buren is just about in the dirty air of Lind, which is slowing him down, and as a result, Nolan Scott is catching up ever so slightly every corner, and eventually they'll all be in each other's dirty air, and it's going to get messy.
Well, Lind just on this lap so far is 9/10 of a second slower, which is definitely not helping his chances of staying ahead.
Watching
hey guys,
Picard's
timing out. He was timing out. Picard having a bit of a connection issue there. He was invisible on the track for quite a few seconds. That would have been 3 times unlucky for Picard if he'd timed out from this one. Enerson just being passed by Dozal, it appears. Yep, that was for 6th place. Enerson wants to try and get back past, but he's under pressure from Marquez behind him.
Through the chicane. Yep, Marquez also didn't try getting around.
And there he is. He's going to go through on the inside of the chicane. I don't expect Enerson to try and fight it too hard. He appears to be going backwards for Christmas, it seems. Marquez heads on through. He gets up into 7th place, but falls off the circuit. Enerson trying to go back through again, and he has completed the pass.
Watching from the back of Van Buren, looking back on Nolan Scott. Nolan closer to Van Buren. Van Buren dropping back from Lind a little bit.
Yep, so far in the lap, Lind's a couple of tenths faster after that previous lap where he lost a lot of time.
The rest of the pack staying clean at this moment in time. No one has spun recently. We have a couple of cars sort of nearly, or about 4 cars on the way to getting lapped during this race. But that won't be for a while yet. They won't come into play for a couple of laps.
That's going to prove interesting if the order stays as it is. Will Van Buren or Nolan Scott use the back markers to help?
Ooh, Lind put on the grass a little bit.
Yeah, no problems though. That 4-wheel drive FXR just manages to handle the grass a little better than the other. Well, obviously they all have FXRs, but going on the grass isn't such a big problem in these cars. And he carried on, going through chicane now, aggressively over the curbs as they all do.
We're on board with Van Buren. We're watching him in car, looking at him to see how his car is handling.
Yep, Van Buren looking after the tyres well. His tyres are in the best condition out of all of the drivers in the top 3. Makes me think he's just biding his time a little bit. He's just waiting for that special moment and he can get past Lind. And it's got to be within the next 5 laps because they're heading on to lap 9 right now.
5 laps to go. 6 laps to go, actually. 8 laps complete, 5 to go. 6 to go. 5 to go. You know what I mean. 6 laps left, 8 complete. There we go. There'll be 5 to go when they cross the line. Lind putting it off on the grass a little bit again. And
Van Buren was
right
closer
on
over
his
the
back
line
bumper there.
than any time we'd been so far.
And Van Buren's going to come
Going
around
side by
side into turn 3, and Van Buren will come in through the lead. Now, how quickly will Scott be able to get around Lynn? And Lynn's going to try and challenge back on the outside. Lynn, will he be able to hold? He'll have an inside line through here if he can. Yes, he can hold it in touch. And Scott's going to slip through. They're both off.
Takes advantage.
That is incredible. What happened there? Well, so it was Van Buren managed to get past, got past Lind. Lind managed to scrape back through again, but had made far too much contact with Van Buren, and eventually Nolan Scott got through, and the rest of them span off.
And Van Buren slid off across the track, trying to recover off the grass, and he's back in 9th position behind Picard and ahead of Matai. I don't think Van Buren will be too happy about that at all after the race, but Scott
well,
just
you could say some of the others would be happy about that.
Yeah, big winners are Kyo, De Jong, Marquez, Dozal, Enerson, Picard. Where's Nolan Scott gone? Oh, he's in the lead, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, he just said, thank you very much, I'll take the inside line.
It was a...
Yep. That was a bit of great racing there. I think Lynn still could be considered to fairly well have decent position, and they both just slid up into each other a little as they came out of turn, but that definitely should be probably investigated after the race. And Gruns is spectated with
well, they were
5
side by
laps to
side
go.
through the middle of the corner, so you can't expect Lynn just to let Van Buren through without a fight.
Yeah, that battle for the lead we just saw 1 lap ago. Oh, Cherkashin joins the spectators. I'm not sure what's happened to him there.
Crashing or lagging, maybe? Could be.
Lynn falls off the track. Kyo is going to go past. It's going to be a core racing 1-2 at this moment in time.
So Lynn going from top of the podium to the last step on the podium. He's right in the slipstream of Kyo, though, so he's got a chance to get it back unless he messes up again. His tires might be a little worn. He has some clag on him.
Yep, nice bit of clag on the tyres there. Should be gone within the next couple of corners. But yeah, Lind won't be too happy. Although, to be fair, it was his fault. The reason he's in this position is he did make a rather aggressive, but I think a very good move. It was aggressive, but it was good, but it didn't work. So he made the move and it's cost him. And he's now down in 3rd place from pole position.
Here's De Jong. He's going to try and catch Lynn to get his 3rd position. So Rudy, after winning the winning race 1, finishing 2nd in race 2, he'll finish back deep in the top 10. He's going to start to trek his way through. Rudy's back up to 8th already, and he's trying to track down Anderson.
So we can assume that Nolan Scott will leave this event championship leader after a win, a 2nd, and possibly another win coming up here.
Dependent, of course, on fastest laps. There's a point for that as well. But only two points between the, well, Van Buren. If he finishes down, of course he won't be the championship leader.
There's a bonus point for pole for Nolan also.
Van Buren makes a move for 8th up the inside of Enerson.
7th,
He was definitely faster. Oh yeah.
So 7th for Van Buren. He's going to try and scrap as many as he can. He's just under a 2nd behind Dolezal. Remember, these Dolezal and Van Buren having that excellent battle in races 2 and 3 at Aston Grand Touring in the pre-season warm-up event. Someone's off up ahead. That was Marquez putting a couple wheels off, kicking up a great cloud of dust.
Got just further down the field, Travis D'Souza just passing New Dimension Racing's Timo Hunion. Travis D'Souza having an unlucky couple of races. He rolled in race 2, but he is in 16th at the moment. And Hunion is trying to get back past him again, and they make contact just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he decided against it just at the last moment, but still touched him.
Oh, Hunion comes back on the
and he goes
track and
straight
hits
on.
Ristic.
I suppose it is quite difficult to slow these cars down over the grass.
Off. And he spectated. Ristic was off in the grass and spectated out.
Yep. And guess who just set the fastest lap? Mr. 7th place, Rudy Van Buren. Could have been the race leader at this moment in time, but he is not.
An entire second ahead of Dolly Zhao ahead of him, so he should make the pass at some point in the next 3 laps.
Ristic quite unhappy with what happened there, and he's just disconnected, so he was obviously not happy about being collected by Timo Hunyan.
No, I wouldn't have thought so either.
Here comes Rudy again.
And here comes Van Buren on the inside of Dolezal. Going into the chicane, Dolezal should let him through. Yes, Van Buren should have the place, indeed. Van Buren up to 6th, working his way back up from 9th. So next to chase down from him is Marquez. Marquez is only about within his sights, definitely, as we're on board with Van Buren.
This is a really great comeback from Van Buren. I mean, it has to be said, he is one of the best, if not the best, driver in the field. It's just, luck doesn't go his way sometimes, and sometimes he makes some mistakes, but in terms of raw talent, he is right up there with the best in Live for Speed.
He's got the pace and the consistency, for the most part, unless he's had a forced error. He's in the slipstream of Marquez as they come around.
Yeah, just ever so slightly in that slipstream, but not enough to get him near for the first corner, although I wouldn't be surprised if he made some kind of move here. Another fastest lap.
Another fastest lap, yeah.
They've got a lapped car ahead of these two, so that could hinder Marquez or hinder Van Buren. With 2 laps to go now, Nolan Scott ahead of Ben, but we're going to continue to watch this battle for 5th position. Again, you're watching round 1 of iCON Touring Car Championship in Westhill. Next month will be round 2. We'll tell you more about that. Osterhaus letting both these 2 cars by him fairly well.
Dolzai and Anderson side by side through the chicane. Anderson backs off a little bit there. However, he is looking to go back fast.
And run a little wide, but he's covered the line pretty well.
Marquez getting a little bit on the grass, having a twitch. That's got Van Buren right on them.
Yeah, it would take a daring man. It would take a daring man to bet against Van Buren getting past Marquez before the end of this race. He is very much faster than Marquez, and he's been making a brilliant run through the field. He was leading, but he's back in 6th and could be 5th by the end of the race. He won't get any further than 5th, that's for sure.
Leading for
final lap,
just a small part of the track, but it's like another reverse grid race for Van Buren as he's been put back.
Yeah, Van Buren led the race for, I don't know, round about 5 seconds or so, and then he was rudely pushed off the circuit again, and yes, and that's where he is now.
Although he has fallen away a bit from Marquez, he was slower in that lap, and he's definitely not in the slipstream now.
No, but I expect to see Van Buren making up some time through this chicane. I would be very surprised if he didn't. Let's see what he does. Whew! Just has some. Okay, well, we're on the final lap. Nolan Scott is still in the lead. He looks to be going through for a Core Racing 1-2 with his teammate Ben Keogh right behind him.
About 1.5 seconds behind. Lind is just behind. Looks like it's settled fairly well. Nolan Scott's going to come through the final turn. Keep it steady, Nolan. He's got it down there. He'll be coming off the turn. He'll be flashing lights, doing some celebratory stuff. Here we come, and Nolan Scott will take race 3. 2 in a row for him in round 1 of the iCON Touring Car Championship. Lyndon de Jong. Marquez will beat Rudy. Here's Picard coming through there to finish. And our streaming guy is timed out from the server, so you'll be losing that for a little.
Yeah, that's a good timing for the. Yes, the cameras have just timed out off the server, so. Oh well, the race is finished,
Great
and
timing on that.
they're all done now.
Looks like he's still in the server though. Whoops.
Whoopsie daisies.
Yeah, he's
okay.
reconnecting, so-
Wow. So Nolan Scott.
Nearly a perfect
Great racing there. Here we are. We're back now.
Wow,
Yeah, that was,
who was that? Who was that daring man who wouldn't bet on Rudy Van Buren making up
Yes.
another place?
Well, that daring man was apparently everybody. Yeah, it's quite. I'm genuinely surprised seeing Van Buren's pace through that race. He was doing some excellent catching up through there, but yep, he got 6th.
Well, a lap to go, he was in the slipstream, and last lap he just lost the pace.
We're riding in car with Nolan Scott, winner 2 races. Controversial win in race 2, some will say. Lots will say. Look for protests in that coming up post-race. Finish in order, Nolan Scott, Ben Keogh 2nd, Core 1-2, Lind in 3rd. 4th is Rick de Jong, Marquez 5th, Van Buren 6th position, fighting back valiantly from 9th, and then Dolezal, in 7th position. 8th is Anderson, 9th is Picard, Simon Matai in 10th.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, Van Buren definitely probably the driver of the race in terms of his comeback. It's just a shame he gets some situations like that every so often.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he'd probably waited a little more, he could have got past and made a clean move. As it was, he tried to go right round the outside, put himself in a dangerous position, and paid the penalty.
Yeah, but yeah, it was I don't think that anything will come of it. I think that was just a racing incident, and they all drove very well in that race. Considerably better than what they drove in the second race, that's for sure. Second race, and in fact there was no safety car in this race, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, there was one on lap 1 with Jack.
Oh
Ford
yeah,
stuck
there
at the
was.
beach.
I'm lying.
You fail again, Michael.
I'm sorry.
But excellent racing all over from here. So yeah, Nolan Scott winning. So championship lead probably to Nolan Scott. Bonus points for fast lap for Van Buren, because I believe Van Buren had fast lap in most all races. But yes, indeed, we might have a rivalry starting with Scott and Van Buren and Lind and any other people who Van Buren had some contact with.
Yeah, they're all rivals here. They're all nuts, basically. They're all totally crazy. But it's good for us, the spectators. We get to see some brilliant racing, some of the best racing I've seen in quite a while.
Indeed. So, any final thoughts from you, Mr. Booth?
Well, I'd just like to say that was great racing from you guys and everyone else. It's been good commentating, and hopefully we'll see more of it at Fenbury Gold. I think it's about a month's time. So, see you all then.
Yep, February 8th is the next round from Fern Bay Gold Reversed. Top 15 in points after this round are locked into that. Everyone else will have to battle their way in and reserve shit out. So we'll have that for you here live on Mogulus. For Michael Booth, Michael Passicam, everyone else, Joe Kevaney for providing the streaming computer for us, all the admins, all the racers. I'm Jonathan Palmer saying so long everyone from Westhill International.
The checkered flag is out, and so are we.